Encouraging words for homeschool moms. So I've got a couple things for you today, and this is it's super cute and super fun. I want you to know, as a homeschool mom, that we need to be intentional. So I'm going to talk about three things in this video. Number one, um, being intentional, what that means when you're talking about academics versus attitude, being an excellent spy. And I've got a little freebie for you. So, being intentional. If you had to choose between a 14 to 16-year-old that was a snot, really snarky, horrible, arguing, complaining attitude, but didn't really know how to read or write yet, if you had to choose between them, or a 16-year-old that for some reason was never taught to read or write, but they're kind and they're loving, they're compassionate, they're serving, they're teachable, they're moldable, they're curious, they've got responsibility and diligence. They just didn't learn the things that a 14 to 16-year-old should have learned technically by that time. Which one would you rather work with? I can tell you hands down, 1000% of the time, you would choose the one with the incredible character because they're teachable. And this has happened in my own house, in my own life, where for whatever reason, we delayed some academics for some of the boys until they got older. And we focused on heart and we focused on character. And when it came time, when they were 13 or 14, I was able to teach them in a day or a week those things that they should have known by then because they were teachable and they were ready and they were intentional and they were curious. Don't for a second, okay, hear me on this for a second. There is nothing in your homeschool planner that trumps the heart and the attitude of your kids. Nothing. There is nothing in your homeschool planner that trumps the heart and the character of your kids. It is worth setting all of the books aside for a year to focus on heart and character. It is worth it. It's worth it to have a character quality that you're working on as a family: kindness, responsibility, diligence, whatever, fill in the blank. It's worth it to focus on that thing and not get anything academically done, and to move forward in the helping your kids become what you envision them to be. You know, you want your adult children to be kind and compassionate and loving and helpful and courteous, disciplined, diligent, responsible, right? I'm not the only one that wants to raise champions. I'm not the only one that wants to raise champions. Do they have to win? No, that's not what I'm talking about. You want the kind of people in from your bloodline or from your family, depending on how your family makeup is, that care. That if somebody spills something on the floor, they stop and they help them pick it up. If they see somebody struggling, they pull over and they do whatever's necessary to make sure that they're okay. You want the kind of kids, adults, that see you working in the kitchen and come in and push you out of the way and say, put me to work. How can I help? The heart and the character of your kids, if you focus on that as your top priority over the first 13 years of their lives, if that's the priority, you can teach all the academics. We live in 2022. That means anything that you need to know, you can find out by pulling out your smartphone. And we do this all the time. Really? Where is the longest road in the world? And wow, can we walk from the base of South America all the way to Asia without getting on a bridge or a boat? You bet you can. So you can pull this up and learn facts and figures just like that. So instead of focusing on the academics as a stress or a worry, prioritize the heart and the character of your kids. If ever something jumps up to the surface, the kids are snotty, snarky, rolling their eyes, disapproving, disagreeing, arguing, complaining, whining, not being obedient to do the thing that they need to do, not being responsible. Yesterday, it's 12 o'clock. It's lunchtime. And I looked at my 16-year-old and I said, "Has the dog been out today?" And he looks at me like, I'm like, "It's noon. Don't you think he wants to use the bathroom?" Um, Focus on the heart and the character of your kids. You will never, ever, ever regret pushing academics aside and focusing on integrity and character. My husband was working yesterday and something poked at him that caused his wheels to spin a little bit more. And we talked about it later. And I said, the reason that got under your skin so deep was that it was an integrity issue, because integrity is everything. And in this world and this culture where people's word means nothing, it's such a big deal to have kids that are kind and loving and say what they mean and mean what they say. So that's the first thing, is be intentional with that heart and that character training. In my master class, the inside a master class inside out, the heart of homeschooling from the inside out, we focus on how you identify things that you can work on, because our kids are at different ages and stages, right? So what I'm working on with my kids is to, and what my husband is championing right now, is that the kids see a need and fill a need, right? It's important that they recognize that it's trash day and the cans everything needs to get emptied in the house and the trash needs to be taken down. It's important that they clean their room, that they change the toilet paper, that if they have a bowl, that they don't just set it on the counter, but that they clean it or put it in the dishwasher. So we're working on that see a need, fill a need type thing. You might be working on obedience. Like if you call, "Hey, so and so," and they come, "Yes, mommy, I'm coming." You may be working on a positive attitude when you're doing school and you bump into something that you can't do. And so you want to be focusing on the "I can't yet, but with practice and diligence, I will be able to in the future." So be intentional with how you address character and attitude in your house. Make it a priority, make it part of your lesson plan. You will not regret it. Okay, the next thing is, I want you to become a spy and a thief. Let me explain. So, where can we put like a magnifying glass? We'll put like a magnifying glass right here. I want you to pay attention to the people around you in your physical arena and online. And I want you to find somebody that's a little farther ahead than you, but they're nailing it. Their kids are amazing. Their kids are obedient. They seem like they can read even though they're 14. Fill in the blank. They're doing what you're trying to do with your kids. So you spy them out, and then you ask or you observe. You if you can, you say, "Well, how did you train that in? How did you?" It's not luck that you have 7 kids that are cheerful, obedient, kind, and helpful. How did you do that? Where did you focus on that? Right? So you spy for people that are where you want to go, and you either steal their best tactics because you can see them, or you ask them with an open mind. I have I have a handful of homeschool moms that ask me questions all the time, and some of them for years they've been asking me the same kind of questions, and I've shared what we do in our household, and they're still having the same kind of questions. And what that tells me is that they're still just looking for information and they're not implementing what they hear. The trick to parenting and homeschooling is that you keep it simple and repeatable. So you find what you're working on and you repeat it, repeat it, repeat it until you master it. So this whole idea of being a spy is that you're looking for people that are further ahead than you that are doing a great job. A great job from the outside. You can tell the difference, right? You've seen kids that are amazing, families that are cheerful, units of little people that are helpful and kind and responsible, right? Those typically are trained traits, and in the positive way, people that prioritize training up their children. So you're looking for them so that you can steal their best tactics. People with gray hair want to share. They do. When I walk down the street, where did we go the other day? We went somewhere and the mouths, oh no, we were watching a show and the mouths on the teenagers in this show was horrifying. And my teenagers who are employed and take college classes said, "Oh, that's just how it is." And it was shocking to me because that's not how it is here. And it's not fake, right? That they're kind and their language is clean and it's amazing. So nothing on your planner trumps character and attitude. Always ditch academics for the sake of investing into the heart and character of your kids. Be a spy and steal what works for other people and make it your own, right? What works for me in my house with my kids may not work for you, but you need to give stuff the good college try for at least a period of time. I remember when we had meals coming to the house. One of my kids had had a major surgery, and so the community around us brought us meals every day. And one of the meals did not satisfy my child, one of my children. And so when they asked, "What are we having for dinner?" and the sweet person that brought the meal said, "This is what you're having for dinner," my child went, "Ew, yuck, I hate that." I looked at the adult and I apologized. And then for the next 2 weeks, every day for 5 minutes, we practiced how you receive something graciously, even if you don't like it. So we would sit, we brought out the play food, and I would pretend I'd come to the door and I would say, "I brought you stinky fish for dinner." And my kids would practice saying, "Thank you. That was so thoughtful of you." We practiced until it became a routine. So, um, character first. Always, please, always character first. We need all of us to be raising up champion people, people that love, people that are kind, people that are helpful, courteous, responsible, all those things. Be a spy. And then before you go, take a peek at the masterclass. So it's might not be something for you right now, and that's okay. But take a peek because there's a lot of goodies in there. With By the time I started to create that, I had such a burning passion to share what was working in our house that I created it because I have a short-term memory problem. And so I recorded all of these things intentionally for my future daughter-in-laws and grandchildren, and with all of you in mind as well. So that's what the masterclass is. It's out there. So anyway, and then I have a freebie for you. Since we're talking about be intentional, I have a little honeybee thing. It's an activity where with your kids, whoops, that's all this is. You get to learn about the parts of a bee and you get to practice how to draw a bee with your kids. So be intentional. Figure out what the heart and the core of your and the culture of your family is, and work constantly to safeguard it and improve it over time. We're not going for Pinterest perfect. We're not trying to be rock stars. We're doing the best that we can with the cards that we've been dealt. And what do I mean by that? Some of you have incredibly complicated lives, and I know that. But when you look, there is a theme in your house right now. It could be, I'm going to assume that some of you already have built your champions and you already are totally intentional and you're rocking it. But for those of us that can always tweak and improve, there's something that's repeating in your household that is not, it's not champion material. What is it? It's different for you than it is for me. So identify what that is. Go brew a cup of tea or ask questions for suggestions in the comments below. And let's see if we can't brainstorm or that you can come up with a way that you can practice with your kids for 2 to 5 minutes a day for the next week or 4, depending on how deep and bad it is. Um, See if you can figure out a way to practice every day. And then when you get to the point where you're ready to hop off of the practice train, you start telling your kids, we're going to practice this for 3 more days. And after that, this is going to be what is expected every single time. And when you fail, because we all fail, I'm just going to say do over. And I want you to back up and then do it again properly. Do you understand? Great. We're going to practice this for 2 days. We're going to practice this for 1 more day. And then you move on. And then your kids are going to mess up because they all do. And you just have them do it over. They just back up, do it again. But with all of this, be intentional. It really does make a difference. Hey, if you watched this far, go ahead and subscribe, hit the like button, and hit the bell because YouTube changed their, I'm doing a lot of YouTube videos to download all of this gray hair stuff out here for moms and families. And I don't want you to miss anything. There's so much stuff coming at you from writing and math and drawing and attitudes and multiple ages and stages and meals and so much stuff. So when you hit the bell, that's how you make sure that you don't miss anything because then YouTube will, the algorithm is for you. So anyway, that's it. Bekki with a better way to homeschool. Be intentional. Say hi in the comments, and I will see you in the next video.